idea behind this was a kind of intuition that math study at pre-degree level at school, in other words, was a crucial part of how economics is, people's performance and success in economics. And we're kind of wondering just how far this actually proceeded throughout the economics degree, particularly on the type of degree which you have at the University of Dundee. So now I initially thought, well, this is a great idea. I bet no one's ever thought about this before. But as it turns out, rather a lot of people have thought about this before. And you see here some of the greatest hits, if you like, of previous work which has been done on this. I think the main difference between what we're doing now and what's been done previously is that we're looking at students' performance at the start of a degree and also at the end of the degree. Now, I should emphasise that this is all kind of preliminary work, and we're not sort of and we have a long road to actually go down before we finish. Okay, now there are three basic issues which affect us when we look at this kind of thing. The first thing is that of course, is that math skills might improve throughout a degree, especially if you have specialist math teaching within an economics degree. But also, our measurements might be skewed because students within a very flexible degree can actually move out of modules and programs which have rather lots of maths involved in them into mathematically easier modules or programs. And finally, there may be other characteristics which might affect people's maths performance. So, for example, do they come from a country where maths teaching is very rigorous indeed? Okay, the degree which we're interested in, naturally, is the University of Dundee undergraduate economics degree. It's a very weird beast, to say the least. It's a 4-year degree, and the first 2 years you do very little economics at all. Okay, in fact, you only really specialise in economics in the third and fourth year. Economic studies, which is the department me and you're in, have no less than 4 economics programs, and even within those programs, there is a large amount of large number of choices you can make between different modules. So it's a very flexible degree where students do have a lot of choice, and they have the chance to kind of move away from the topics which they don't like. So end results which we produce in this session this extreme flexibility has to be borne in mind, and it's something we intend to investigate in the future. The data we use comes from student records at the University of Dundee after some very intensive negotiations with the University of Dundee registry. It's over 5 years with entry points ranging from 2012 to 2016, because what we wanted was the same students from their entry point through to when they finished. And also, we didn't want things to vary too much. We had a series of exclusions, which I've kind of listed down here. So the students in the various courses were not doing economics degrees if they'd withdrawn from the university, if they're direct entry, or if we simply didn't have enough information on their school leaving qualifications. The dependent variable was two things: their performance in year 1, which was based around the core module for first year economics, and the performance in year 4, which is an average across all of their modules in year 4. The reason being, as I said, in the first 2 years, they don't actually study a huge amount of economics. We use the Z score based on the individual cohort's average and standard deviation, which controls for heteroscedasticity resulting from perhaps different assessment regimes or different marking schemes throughout the years. The independent variables, again, all of this is taken from student records. Their preparatory schooling, so in other words, what they got in their final exams. Did they do maths? What score did they get in maths? Did they do economics? What score did they get in economics? And then all the other subjects combined together. And in order to make things uniform, we use the UCAS tariff system in order to represent the scores. So in principle, we'll come back to this, everything should be comparable. age and entry, the gender, country of domicile, and also, as I said, Highers, whether they did Highers, the Scottish qualification, or some other thing instead. The reason why Highers is different, as you can see from this table, is that on average, for reasons which we can discuss if you want, people seem to take more Highers and hence get more tariff points than is the average for the rest of the UK, or indeed for other qualifications. Here is the structure of the sample, and as you can see, we had slightly more students more recently. These are students who are actually on economics degrees going through into all 4 years. And here we have some more basic statistics, which is basically just looking at the proportions in the average tariff for maths, average tariff for economics, and for other subjects all summed together, and also, the proportion of females and the proportion of women, and the age on entry. And the proportion of students who are admitted with the Highers or advanced Highers, which is the main Scottish school leaving certificate. Okay, now what I'll do now is I'll stop sharing and I'll hand over to Yin. Okay, far away.
Thanks, Martin. Yin, just so you're aware, you've about 3.5 minutes, but you can have a couple.
Sorry.
Right, so here we are looking at the set of results for the for sample. I think there are 3 things to note. Number 1 is the coefficients on the 3 qualifications variables are all positive and also statistically significant, as you can see from there. And in terms of relative magnitude, it is obvious that the math qualifications have the strongest effect, followed by the economics qualifications, and then the last one is the qualifications for other subjects. And the second thing to note is that other things being equal, and the students who are admitted on Highers or advanced Highers tend to underperform their peers by about 1.4 grade point on the Dundee grading scale, and that translates to about 5 to 7 marks on the percentage scale. And the third thing to note is the other attributes, including gender, age, and also the status of being overseas, status of having an overseas domicile. They are all statistically insignificant. And then this set of results are then confirmed by running the same regression, but use the Z-scores as the dependent variable. As Martin has mentioned, that our where we depart from previous study is where we not only want to look at the effects of those variables on students' journey on student performance at the start of the journey, but also how they affect students' performance at the end of their journey in Dundee. So to be able to do so, we need to follow a group of students consistently throughout their study in Dundee. As it turns out of the full sample of 238 students, 61 students either exited their study at the end of year 1 or year 2, or completed a degree with no economics element in year 4. And hence we ended up with a trimmed sample with 177 students in it. As you can see from the cohort distribution, the 2 samples are very much comparable. And then these are just some other descriptive characteristics. Again, I think it broadly indicates that the 2 samples are comparable. Right, okay, so now we are looking at the regression results using the trimmed sample. This the set of results on this slide for the dependent variable using the raw marks of students' performance as the dependent variable. As you can see for year one, pretty much the same results for the full example carry through. So again, we have positive and statistically significant coefficients for the 3 qualifications variables, and negative and statistically significant result for the variable indicating students were admitted on highest or advanced highest. And then if we look at year 4, this is
say it's just 1 minute, please.
Okay, so, for year 4, the big difference is that the math qualifications variable is no longer significant, but the overseas domicile variable becomes negative and significant, and then the admission on highest and advanced highest becomes insignificant. Now, this set of results again are confirmed by using z-scores as the dependent variable. So in conclusion, I think we are results, the robust results coming through the regression analysis is that preparatory schooling apparently positively affects student performance, but the pre-degree math qualifications tend to have a positive effect in year 1, but not so in year 4. And also, I think other things being equal, students admitted on Scottish highest tend to underperform their peers. So for in terms of future research, we will be interested in looking at what explains the declining importance of math skills as explanatory variable for the for student performance. Yes, that concludes our presentation.